Coming up on AgweekTV, Minnesota's new pork president discusses export hopes with the China Phase 1 deal in effect.
A unique FFA exchange links the North and the South.
A Go Red for Women event showcases the role of lean beef in a heart-healthy diet. And we share important tips to prevent grain bin accidents. Welcome to AgweekTV. I'm Michelle Rook. The long-awaited Phase 1 deal with China went into effect on February 15th. China followed up with an announcement the government would be accepting applications for exemptions to additional trade war tariffs on 697 U.S. goods. Those include farm and energy products like soybeans, corn, wheat, beef, pork, and ethanol. Importers will be able to apply for those certificates starting March 2nd. The market is uncertain, though, about the timing of Chinese purchases, especially with the coronavirus outbreak, which has clouded China's ability to uphold the deal. However, President Xi says they'll meet 2020 commitments. U.S. farmers remain hopeful China will be in buying U.S. products soon, but there are still many unknowns about the Phase 1 deal. Plus, the country is now dealing with coronavirus, which could slow down their economy. This is a concern for the new president of the Minnesota Pork Producers Association. Preston, Minnesota producer Dave Mensick says the pork export potential is huge in China under the new trade deal, especially with the high price of pork. So they remain optimistic.
They're going to try to meet the demand, and if the market forces allow it, they're going to allow a lot of pork to come in there. But it's really hard with a 63% tariff on U.S. pork, and some other countries have a 12% tariff.
So they have to bet China will grant some of those tariff-free import certificates for U.S. pork. The wild card now is coronavirus.
It's hampering demand. And if nothing else, it's a psychological thing to our markets. People are not moving around in China. They're just not acting as normal consumers would be because of this coronavirus.
Mensick says even with the outbreak, there's pent-up demand in China due to African swine fever in their pig herd.
You know, I've heard that they've lost more sows over there than we have in the U.S. And what the real number is, we don't really know. Will anybody ever know? But it really sounds like it's devastating.
In response, pork producers geared up production of ractopamine-free hogs for the China market. But with record production, Mensick says they need the sales to kick in now. In the meantime, pork producers are thankful for trade deals with Mexico, Canada, and Japan, which are all top export customers for U.S. pork. Pork and soybean producers probably have the most to gain from the China Pact, but the soybean industry isn't going to put all their eggs in one basket again, even China's. So amidst the trade war, they've been diversifying. I talked about that strategy with the top soybean official at the Northern Corn and Soybean Expo. Joining us is Mace Thornton with the United Soybean Board and the U.S. Soybean Export Council. And let's talk about what USEC has been doing in lieu of kind of China backing off the market to gear up and expand all of these other markets around the globe for soybeans.
Right. Well, as the difficulties developed with China in the export market this past year, there was a very deliberate decision by the U.S. Soybean Export Council to really start looking at developing markets. Places like Egypt, places like Nigeria, places like India that have large amounts of population that also are in the situation where they need to increase the share of protein in their population's diet. So really trying to work with buyers from those regions, in some cases even establishing boots on the ground facilities to help tell the story of U.S. soybeans. That's all happened. And that probably will not change even when China comes back on the marketplace, as we expect they will.
When we talk about demand, exports part of that, livestock part of that, but also talk about the demand from the human side and what you guys are doing with Protein First.
It's called Protein First, and it's really the recognition that protein is one of the crucial nutrients to support humankind. And as we move toward that magic year of 2050, when we expect more than 9 billion people are going to be on this planet, protein is going to be in big demand. In parts of the world, whether for religious reasons or for economic reasons or societal reasons, in some cases, plant protein is the only answer that there's available.
Well, we appreciate the update from you today. Mace Thornton joining us with the United Soybean Board. Dairy Farmers of America, the largest dairy cooperative in the U.S., has struck a deal to buy bankrupt Dean Foods. As part of the $425 million deal, DFA would buy dozens of plants from Dean Foods. Dean's bankruptcy follows a years-long decline in fluid milk sales as other beverages and plant-based alternatives have pressured the milk business. Dairy officials say it's part of the transition happening in the dairy industry.
The companies that are challenging themselves to be more innovative have seen some positive results. I won't say they're home runs, but I see singles kind of, and we do really realize that our consumer wants something new.
The Dean DFA deal requires approval of the bankruptcy court and the U.S. Department of Justice. Dean operates 57 plants in about 30 states. Borden Dairy also filed for bankruptcy in January, blaming falling milk prices. Coming up on AgweekTV, we'll see how peanut butter and milk have been bringing an FFA group from Alabama to Minnesota for nearly 50 years.
For home delivery of AgWeek, log on to AgweekTV.com or call 800-811-2580.
Small or large, Superior Grain Equipment has a storage solution for you with a wide variety of bin options and accessories, along with site planning and superior customer service. Plus, from top to bottom, we offer the industry's best bins and warranties to protect your products and your grain storage investment. Get superior quality, protection, and reliability with generations of experience and dependability. Make the superior choice today with Superior Grain Equipment.
Ready for more? The new Fendt 900 Vario is impressive on every level. With groundbreaking features, you'll be ready for everyday challenges now and in the future. New smart connectivity solutions make the Fendt 900 series from Butler Machinery an intelligent choice for your farm. We're also proud to carry the Fendt Ideal, a new combine for a new era of farming. Designed to be automated in operation, the Ideal combine is already setting industry standards for efficiency and output. Visit butlermachinery.com to schedule a demo at your operation.
Giddy up, partners. It's time for the 83rd Annual North Dakota Winter Show in Valley City, February 29th through March 7th. Put an extra spur in your step at the country concert February 29th with headliner Jared Neiman. Don't miss the 3 PRCA rodeo performances starting Friday, March 6th. And with thrilling events all weekend long, there's something for the whole family. It's the 83rd Annual North Dakota Winter Show. Find complete schedule and tickets at NorthDakotaWintershow.com or find us on Facebook.
How can one tillage tool handle most field conditions, residue types, and tillage practices? It takes a Renegade, the Summers VRT Renegade. Get the results you want in diverse field conditions with the flexibility of the Summers VRT Renegade. Adjust from light to aggressive tillage, including blade angle of 0 to 19 degrees on the fly from the cab. Learn more at summersmfg.com or contact your Summers dealer.
This is Dennis Belisky reminding you we do auctions and we do them well. You've built your operation with hard work, and when it's time to sell, all or part, you deserve the best. Details from repairs and preparation to promotion and settlements are not routine. Chances are you'll only do this once, so we'll tailor an auction just for you and get it done right. On-site at your farm or add it to one of our highly successful Alaris Center auctions, we have the skill, reputation, and integrity to meet your needs with best-in-class commitment and quality service. Find us at resourceauction.com or call 701-757-4015.
Today marks the beginning of National FFA Week in the U.S. FFA is about learning about ag and rural culture, and two sister cities in Minnesota and Alabama are taking it to a new level. Nicole Pates explains in this week's AgWeek cover story.
It's just a lot of fun, and they stay at your house for a week, so they become one of your sisters.
Every February for nearly 50 years, a group of FFA members and adults from Alabama have traveled to Litchfield, Minnesota for the town's Peanut Butter and Milk Festival.
Most of these exchange programs, they generally don't last very long. This is a rarity and an oddity for sure.
Rob Cole is the ag teacher and FFA advisor in Litchfield. He says this exchange program is a highlight of the year for him, his students, and the community. Farmer Roger Hune has hosted the group for a day of snowmobiling for 20 years.
To get out and see what other farm groups and other places, how they live, what you do by day, and it's just a great experience.
My grandfather actually went here when he was in high school.
Scarlett Brannon loves being part of this family tradition. She's made this trip with her parents and is learning a lot about northern crops.
The understanding of agriculture here versus there, because it is so different. It's so cool to see. Like, I have never seen like some of the stuff that I've seen here. I'm like, what is that?
It all started with a local grocer who wanted to promote peanut butter. So we reached out to Auburn University, who recommended an FFA chapter to partner with, and the peanut butter partnership stuck.
There's many of our kids that may never even get the experience to leave a small town such as ours. So we know firsthand that has opened up many doors for them.
It takes a lot of planning and fundraising all year long to make this exchange work. Thanks to lots of volunteers and community support, organizer Terry Anderson says it's worth every minute and every penny.
We've sent students to Alabama that were so shy that I thought, oh, are they going to be able to talk? And they come back, they're different. You know, they had a great trip, they experienced something very unique.
And every November, a group travels to Alabama for the National Peanut Festival. In Litchfield, Minnesota, this is Mikkel Pates for AgWeek.
You can read much more about the exchange and the interesting way it got started in the next AgWeek magazine or at agweek.com. Despite a rough harvest for many northern potato growers, there was optimism at the International Crop Expo in Grand Forks this week. Other potato growing areas were also hit by harsh weather, especially Idaho. That means shorter supplies. But Mark Klompien, CEO of the United Potato Growers, says the good news is that also means higher prices.
Hopefully that rather than leaving things like that to the whims of Mother Nature, that we do some of this by design in terms of how we plan for acreage and try to balance that supply and demand picture so that our growers are always getting a very fair price for all the hard work and the effort that a farmer, that a potato grower puts into his crop.
About 80% of U.S. grown potatoes are eaten in this country. The rest are exported. So growers are encouraged by the passage of USMCA, Japan's ratification of its trade agreement, and the China Phase 1 agreement. Still ahead on AgweekTV, a Missouri farm wins big in its case against dicamba. And later, how experts are working to improve grain bin rescues.
When harvest comes around, time is precious and you don't have a moment to waste. North Star Ag offers the Lofsness Grain Logix Grain Bag Loader to deliver versatile grain storage performance load after load. Lofsness's user-friendly grain baggers are easy to load and unload, perfect to get your harvest in the bag. Uptime is crucial. Keep your crew in the field longer with a fuel trailer from Thunder Creek. And don't forget, North Star Ag has Meridian hopper bins for any size operation. See our complete new and used equipment inventory at northstarag.com or give us a call.
Looking for a crop insurance agent for the 2020 crop year? Call the team at Martinson Ag Risk Management. We do more than just marketing. We have 60-plus years of combined crop insurance experience to provide the service and solutions you need for your farming operation. Call Martinson Ag Risk Management at 701-205-4200. Let's get started on your 2020 policy today.
Make sure your farm equipment is season ready with an uptime inspection from your Titan Machinery service professionals. Titan Machinery's team of Case IH certified technicians has the knowledge and experience to find, correct, and prevent mechanical issues that could shut you down during the season. Your planting and harvest windows are short. For genuine Case IH parts and service, schedule an off-season uptime inspection at Titan Machinery today. Titan Machinery, your local Case IH dealer.
Steffes Group, selling land and the equipment to farm it since 1960. If you're interested in selling or have questions about our auction process, head to our website at steffesgroup.com to contact us at any one of our 4 locations located throughout the Midwest. You can also visit and subscribe to our YouTube channel to view all of our auction previews and recaps to stay up to date on the market in your area.
When you think about it, productivity starts at planting. So it's time to rethink how productive your planter can be. We did with the new Case IH 2000 Series Early Riser Planter. We rethought your row unit so it's tougher, more accurate. We rethought your meter, took the most precise technology, factory installed it. We rethought every inch of the Case IH Early Riser Planter to make it the most productive planter around. And if you think about it, that's exactly what you want.
A federal jury has determined Bayer and BASF should pay $250 million in punitive damages and $15 million in actual damages in response to allegations a Missouri peach farm was damaged by off-target movement of dicamba herbicide. The jury's verdict came after 3 weeks of testimony. Bader Farms, which is the largest peach grower in Missouri, blames the companies for the scenario that allowed dicamba herbicides to move from neighboring fields and damaged peach trees. Bayer immediately responded with an announcement the verdict would be appealed. BASF has also announced they will appeal. Even before the legal action against dicamba manufacturers, the industry made changes in how the herbicide is applied to lower off-target drift. As a result, complaints and problems with spray drift the last 2 seasons have dropped dramatically.
This past year we didn't have a lot of spray drift. Department of Ag put a cutoff date in of June 30th for the dicamba and held to it, and we had some in the state but very little.
Still, he says the South Dakota legislature is looking at new rules requiring farmers and applicators to carry liability insurance to protect adjacent landowners against damages. Temperatures continue to be up and down, but right now farmers are more closely watching the precip outlook for spring. What's ahead? Here's John with our AgriWeather Outlook.
Want to begin the weather portion of AgWeek this week focusing on the polar vortex. Now, this is really a little bit different than the polar jet stream, but it's the general circulation pattern around the North Pole. And this winter, and particularly this year, January and February, it's been particularly strong and particularly circular. Last winter, it was very weak and it had a lot of waves in it, and that produced a lot of nasty weather into the northern plains, especially into the spring. But this year, especially January and February, there have been storms, but not as many of them. We've had some cold snaps, but they've generally been shorter and not as severe, and it's generally been a quieter weather pattern. And right now, that polar jet stream is quite strong. So we have a pattern that is very quiet and also not that cold. Although colder weather will come back after a very mild weekend, but this is not going to be unusually cold. Getting down into Iowa and the Dakotas, Minnesota, North Dakota, we'll have a few days with highs in the teens and 20s, and even that won't last that much longer. As we move toward the end of the weekend, there may even be a brief, modest warm-up. The second week of this period, as we go into the first week of March, this will be still looking relatively cold, but the frigid air, the sub-zero stuff, will stay well up north, and it does look like we might eventually get at least a few thawing days into even the northern plains. Precipitation for this last week of February, as it has been for the last several weeks, will be largely confined to the southeastern states and largely as rain, probably a narrow swath of ice and snow down in the lower part of the Midwest and the northern Rockies, which have had a very snowy winter. It will continue. Look for the first week of March to bring a very similar pattern. Most of this will be rain in the deep south, some modest snow getting up into the Corn Belt, but most of the northern plains and upper Midwest. Not saying there won't be any precipitation, just doesn't look like there will be very much.
Giddy up, partners. It's time for the 83rd Annual North Dakota Winter Show in Valley City, February 29th through March 7th. Put an extra spur in your step at the country concert February 29th with headliner Jared Neiman. Don't miss the 3 PRCA rodeo performances starting Friday, March 6th. And with thrilling events all weekend long, there's something for the whole family. It's the 83rd Annual North Dakota Winter Show. Find complete schedule and tickets at NorthDakotaWinterShow.com or find us on Facebook.
Dynaflow is the ultimate high-volume water management pump. Whether you're experiencing flooding, emptying sloughs, transferring ponds, or working on irrigation, the Dynaflow pump works in as little as 18 inches of water and is designed to move 3,000 gallons per minute. The Dynaflow lift pump is the perfect upgrade to your drain tile system. Using line shaft turbine pump technology, these pumps are made to last while operating efficiently. Dynaflow drain tile pumps can move up to 1,500 gallons per minute, up to 3,400 feet away.
Mayo Manufacturing, your Red River Valley source for Batco. Mayo Manufacturing, your Red River Valley Batco dealer.
This is Dennis Beliski reminding you we do auctions and we do them well. You've built your operation with hard work, and when it's time to sell, all or part, you deserve the best. Details from repairs and preparation to promotion and settlements are not routine. Chances are you'll only do this once, so we'll tailor an auction just for you and get it done right. On-site at your farm or added to one of our highly successful Alaris Center auctions, we have the skill, reputation, and integrity to meet your needs with best-in-class commitment and quality service. Find us at resourceauction.com or call 701-757-4015.
Every year, 40% of all food in the U.S. never gets eaten.
40%. That's almost half the food we produce.
Food waste is a serious problem. It impacts all of us.
And it's expensive. Your family is throwing $1,500 a year in the trash.
We're working hard to put food waste on the chopping block.
And you can do the same at home.
Learn how to cook it, store it, and share it.
Just don't waste it.
Go to savethefood.com.
AgweekTV Soy Insight, brought to you by the North Dakota Soybean Council.
Since last fall, more than 20 people across the Midwest have died in grain bin accidents. But many of those deaths could have been prevented with planning or faster rescue. A rescue team shows the hazards and hidden dangers of grain handling and some ways to stay safe in this Soy Insight.
Safety is definitely number one priority on the farm, that's for sure.
Adam Redmond knows farmers are often in a hurry and sometimes hampered by cold or wet weather, and they don't think they can take time for safety. So he volunteered to be the victim in this grain bin rescue demonstration.
When an accident happens, a lot of times it's because you were in a hurry and you were already frustrated about something else that didn't go right.
That can set off events that end in disaster or rescue if everything goes right. So preparedness is key. This grain bin rescue demonstration is part of that effort to keep farmers safe. Today, Adam Redmond of St. Thomas is seeing firsthand how this metal cofferdam, which surrounds and protects the trapped person, and other safety and rescue equipment works. He was shocked at how quickly he became trapped.
It's like cement wrapped around you, and the more you struggle, it kind of becomes like quicksand. I'm pretty thankful to have never had to be in that situation before.
So we'll go up there and make contact with the victim. We'll do some probing with a stick so we don't push the tubes in on top of them, and then we'll get rid of the grain that's inside of the tube, and then at that point we'll help them get up out of there.
Rich Schock of the Cheyenne Valley Technical Rescue Team was spurred into action by the loss of a friend in a grain bin accident.
In a matter of moments, you're engulfed past your knees, and by that time you can't self-rescue anymore, and then you're going to either end up riding it out, become entangled in the moving machinery, or just buried in the grain.
Most important is prevention, since on a farm, help is usually several miles away.
Take the time, be safe. Accident only takes a second.
In Fargo, this is Rose Dunn for AgWeek.
Hemp is still considered a niche crop, but an NDSU ag economist says it has a lot of potential. About 150,000 acres were planted in the U.S. this year in 3 different types. The most dominant right now is for CBD. The 2 others are for fiber and for grain or oilseed for food. But NDSU Extension Specialist David Ripplinger says prices were good going into last planting season, but he cautions that like any commodity, overproduction could lead to lower prices.
To some extent, we're suffering from both it being a young industry, a young market, and also to some extent to oversupply. And so we're really trying to balance these things out.
Earlier this month, USDA announced an insurance pilot program for hemp. Producers can apply now until March 16th. Still ahead on AgweekTV, this Go Red for Women event is a great opportunity to showcase how lean beef can be part of a heart-healthy diet.
Where do you go for the latest news in agriculture? AgWeek magazine. Reaching over 70,000 farmers and ranchers in North Dakota, Minnesota, South Dakota, and Montana. AgWeek provides the most up-to-date information on the markets, the trends, and the people who make it all happen. We're your source for news, not fluff. Dependable, trusted. AgWeek. Subscribe today by calling 1-800-811-2580.
AgWeek brings you timely agriculture news from field to fork in digital, print, and television. Fresh every week, join Jenny Schlecht from the AgWeek editorial team and me, Al Windmill, from the sales and marketing team for a deeper dive into farm and ranch stories, along with guest interviews with personalities from the world of agriculture. If you're involved in farming, ranching, or agribusiness, the AgWeek podcast is the show for you.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
I'm Jenny Garth, and as a mother of 3, I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. But here in America, that is a real worry for 1 in 5 children. Even though we are one of the most food-rich countries in the world, 15 million children don't know where their next meal is coming from. This is unacceptable, and something the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks is working to solve. Instead of accepting that our country lets billions of pounds of surplus food go to waste every year, Feeding America has made it their mission to help families in need by rescuing this food. Through food pantries and meal programs, the nationwide network of food banks provides more than 3 billion meals, serving virtually every community in the United States, including yours. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank by visiting feedingamerica.org. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
It may surprise you, but heart disease is the leading cause of death among women. That's one of the messages the American Heart Association is sharing during February Heart Month. They're also informing consumers that decreasing the risk of heart disease doesn't mean you have to give up great foods like beef. The annual Go Red for Women event in Sioux Falls helps raise money and awareness about how to lower the risk of cardiovascular disease in females.
Heart disease is the #1 killer of women. In fact, 1 in 3 women will die of heart disease or stroke. It's a bigger killer than all forms of cancer combined.
It's also an opportunity to educate the public on how to live a heart-healthy lifestyle and eat smarter. Sanford cardiologist Dr. Tom Stish shared positive research findings about lean beef's role in cardiovascular health.
So red lean meat is a very important source of protein at a low calorie expense, and at the same time does have very important nutrients that are important for heart health.
That research and the meal at the event were both sponsored by the South Dakota Beef Industry Council. Holly Sweet says more than 60% of all whole muscle cuts are lean.
To be considered lean, the product must have less than 10 grams of total fat, less than 4.5 grams of saturated fat, and less than 95 milligrams of cholesterol per 100 gram of product.
These cuts can also be recognized in the store by looking for the word loin or round in the name or the American Heart Association's designation.
So the American Heart Association has long used the heart checkmark label to help grocery shoppers identify foods that have passed the American Heart Association's rigorous stamp of approval for heart-healthy products.
Consumers can learn more by visiting beefitswhatsfordinner.com. Thanks for watching this week's edition of AgWeek TV. Remember, for all your ag news, go to agweek.com. Also, be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well. We'll see you next week.